One of the world's best-known historical sites, the Tower of London is a major tourist attraction in Europe and is currently designated as a World Heritage Site, welcoming thousands of visitors every day. Not only is it an important architectural landmark, but its history entails mystery, murder, and a possible plot to usurp the British throne. King William I, also known as William the Conqueror, the first Norman ruler of England, began building the Tower of London in 1078. The site has undergone many architectural changes since construction began, including demolitions, improvements, and expansions of some of its buildings, besides being put to different purposes over time. The White Tower is the complex's oldest fortification and the first one to have been built, and is still its most famous landmark. It is 36 by 32 meters at its base and 72 meters high. Stones and mudstone, which is a sedimentary rock, were used to build it. It houses St. John's Chapel, London's oldest church, dating back to 1080. The White Tower currently contains a weapons and armor collection. There are other places in the Tower of London structure, aside from the White Tower, such as the Traitor's Gate, where treasonous individuals entered to be imprisoned or executed, the Chapel of St. Peter ad Vincula, the Martin Tower, and others. The Tower of London consists of several buildings, including courtyards, walls, towers, and other constructions. It has 3 wings: the Central Ward, the Inner Ward, and the Outer Ward. The Central Ward includes Wakefield and Lanthorn Towers, probably built as royal residences. The Inner Ward was an area established during Richard I's reign, and underwent modifications during Henry III and Edward I's rule. The Outer Ward was added during Edward I's tenure, and, at the time, this part of the tower included a bastion, a moat, the extension of the tower's south side, and the construction of St. Thomas's Tower, among many other modifications. The Tower of London has had several uses historically. It acted as a royal residence, a weapons depot, the Royal Mint's headquarters, an animal collection facility, a treasury, a prison, the home of the British Crown jewels, among others. The tower was used as a royal menagerie for 6 centuries. Many animals were kept there during this period. The English king, Henry III, even kept there leopards, an elephant, and a white bear that often caught its prey in the Thames. Other wild animals were also there, such as lions and monkeys. Queen Elizabeth I even opened the royal menagerie to the public in the 16th century. The tower also had an important impact on some of England's rulers, housing Edward VI, Mary I, and Elizabeth I before their coronations. But the Tower of London is probably best remembered for its role as a prison and torture chamber. This happened particularly during the Tudor dynasty, under Henry VIII. Devices such as trestles, handcuffs, and iron shackles were used for torture purposes. The bloody history of the site has included executions. Well-known figures were put to death in the tower, such as Queen Anne Boleyn and the philosopher Thomas More. Despite the number of people imprisoned, the figure for torture and executions is not as high as the legends say, even though they have indeed been part of the tower's history. The site was a prison for a long time, especially between 1100 and 1952. The first known inmate was Ranulph Flambard, the Bishop of Durham. He also gained recognition for being the first to escape from the Tower of London. To do this, he used a rope that was given to him in a bottle of wine. His escape was so clever that the bishop was accused of witchcraft. The Tower of London also functioned as a prison during the First and Second World Wars. Joseph Jacobs, a German spy, was shot to death in 1941, and the last person to die in the complex. Many individuals died in the complex over the years, including a few celebrities, such as the philosopher and chancellor Thomas More, who became well known for his work Utopia. Anne Boleyn, the second of King Henry VIII's 6 wives, was another personality who became part of the Tower of London's history. Their relationship grew strained, as Boleyn could not bear the king a son, and the monarch lost his attraction for her when he met another woman. He ended up accusing and condemning her for treason. Anne Boleyn had her head cut off in the Tower of Green and was buried in the Tower Chapel of St. Peter and Vincula. Over the course of history, many other people have been executed in the tower, such as the young Guilford Dudley, the Countess of Salisbury, and the Duke of Monmouth. The story of the Little Princes, also known as the Princes in the Tower, is another surprising event. Following Edward IV's death in 1483, His son, Edward V, aged 12, ascended the throne, and Richard, the youngest, became Duke of York. However, the boys were under Richard's uncle, the Duke of Gloucester, who apparently wanted his nephew's royal power. So he declared them illegitimate and succeeded in taking the crown. The boys, once constantly seen around the tower, disappeared. During Charles II's reign in 1675, while construction work was underway at the complex, workers found the bones of 2 boys. Their remains were stuffed into an urn and taken back to Westminster Abbey. But there were different versions and conclusions, and the mystery became part of English history. The Tower of London has been the site of so many tragedies, so it comes as no surprise that legends and ghost stories have sprung around it. Many assert that the complex is tormented by the souls of people who suffered or died there. Many ghostly tales are part of the site's history. The Tower of London has considerable historical significance and impressive architecture. The site is in central London, alongside the River Thames and the famous Tower Bridge. The building has come to symbolize England and is one of the most important landmarks in the country's history.